We're talking about the enduring quality of the dance that Alvin Ailey American Dance Theater has performed, and certainly nothing could be more enduring than the iconic Revelations. And I know that this is a piece that is often performed, though not always, but often performed at the close of the performances that Alvin Ailey does, and you all are celebrating the 50th anniversary of that piece. Could you talk a little bit about why it has been so enduring and what it, you know, clearly we were talking earlier and Ms. Jamison was saying that sometimes they don't include it and people always complain because it is such a perennial favorite. Could you talk a little bit about what you think makes it so successful?
Part of what makes Revelation successful, I think, is just the plain old genius of a choreographer, Alvin Ailey. I mean, sometimes we skip over that and don't realize that when you step into the roles that you do in the work, that there's transformation there, you know. No dancer feels that they've joined the company until they do their first Revelations. And the choreography wraps around you. You know, I can give you a perfect example of it. For 4 years, or 3.5 years, I forget I used to do Fix Me Jesus, which is a wonderful, beautiful pas de deux in the first section of Revelations. Which is Pilgrims of Sorrow. It's separated into Pilgrims of Sorrow, which is I've been buked and I've been scorned, my Lord deliver Daniel, and Fix Me Jesus. And the next section is called Take Me to the Water, which includes Waiting in the Water, I Want to Be Ready, and Sinner Man. And the last section is Move Members Move, which is been run home for a long time, and Rock of My Soul in the Bosom of Abraham. So in this first section, I used to do Fix Me Jesus. Beautiful pas de deux, 2 people out on stage. It was beautiful. I loved it. You know, the next thing I knew, Alvin said, you're gonna carry a prop. You're gonna carry the umbrella in Waiting in the Water. And I went like, you know, I don't feel like, I didn't study all this time so I could carry a prop. You know what I mean? And of course I didn't say that to him. Of course not. However, talking about a dance enveloping you and bringing you into it, and our survival, that, you know, entertainers, people that are in this business, or anybody that's in the creative business, imagination going, you're not going on the stage and look bad. There's no way you're going on stage and look bad. So I took that umbrella, and even though I felt I was carrying a prop, I went out on stage and I immediately went, and I ran out on stage like I was going to a joyous baptism, right? I had to smile that way for the next 7.5 years. You know what I'm saying? But it wasn't even a had to smile that way. It brought me into it. So there's the genius of that work, okay? There is the feeling of shared experience in Revelations. I've been buked and I've been scorned. Who hasn't, right? You know, and that's also why it's understood universally. You know, that everyone, no matter what country we go to, everybody understands that fact, because it's a human experience. It is rooted in the Black experience, but it is a human experience. And so that is part of what endures it to audiences, that everyone understands what he's talking about. Alvin Ailey really wanted us to be a reflection of who you are. So when you're sitting in the audience, you're not just looking at people do turn, split, jump, bang, wang, you know, all that, but that there's something indelible that should touch your inner spirit and should make you think a little bit and leave you lifted in one sideways, up, you know, whichever way, but forward. You know what I'm saying? So Revelations in its 50th year is amazing to me, in that every time I watch it, and I've probably seen it more than anyone, every time I watch it, it fills me. It fills me. And let us not forget 30 of the most incredible dancers in the world. They are amazing. They are also beautiful. They also don't look like each other. All these different body types in the company. That's another thing that Mr. Ailey wanted. So it is that 30-minute prayer, I call it. It's like a 30-minute prayer that goes on an absolute spiral upward. It just keeps lifting you up and up and up until you leave the theater. you know, and then have that indelible impression made on heart, mind, spirit.
Well, we as Spelman women, we often say that our choice is to change the world. So how would you say that we should lead by your example that you have given us through your amazing legacy in our respective fields and careers?
How you can change the world?
Yes.
That's great. I think it's wonderful. I'm waiting for y'all to do it. You know, I'm still trying to change the world. It never stops that you try. And you start with yourself. That sounds familiar, doesn't it? It starts with what you're doing with yourself, you know, and recognizing yourself in others, you know, and not negating. Don't negate anybody. That's very important, that you recognize yourself and others. We are all on this planet together. As far as I know, I don't know if anybody's taking a ship anywhere soon, but if you're going to invent that, I'll go if I'm still around. You know, if you want to go to another planet, you know, I'm with you there. I'm with you with whatever you think, whatever you think is possible, whatever you project is possible in your mind. You don't necessarily have to share it with anybody, just as long as you see it. And you might not see the end of it in your vision. Some of us get, you know, the visions that, you know, it finishes with an exclamation point, period. Oh yeah, I'm going there. And some of us are doing this. We're going like, oh, well, where am I going? My suggestion is you go this way, not this way, and certainly not this way, you know, because you really can't go that way. My suggestion to you is always be in the moment, but be forward thinking while you're in that moment. So be ready for the precipice, you know, be ready for that precipice and be ready to take what we call a grand jeté, you know, and know that you have a landing that has a soft plie, but that it will make such an impression that when you come to your landing, you'll be ready to step off that next precipice. You know what I'm saying?